Look, there's steps. There's steps in an order the steps go in. I've hit record now. 3, 2, 1. Clap.
Why do I hear a metronome?
Oh, I'll turn it off. I'm sorry. It's coming back. It's off. There you go.
You're on it now, and it's working, right?
It is working. Oh, God. Sorry. Jesus Christ.
Were you just like guzzling cum?
I mean, I wish, but no. I mean, Jesus.
I'm imagining a cartoon where he was going to take a smoke, and then we called on him, and he just inhaled the whole pipe, and he's like, and coughed it back up, like cartoon style.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Let's start over.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were we saying?
I'm Pepper.
I'm Xander.
I'm Dragor.
And we're the Funky Bunch.
This is a last-minute politics bonus episode. It's a combination of us wanting to talk about the Super Bowl and not waiting for another week, so that it'll be completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
And we launched our Patreon, and we got patrons. Like I kind of expected it to, like, okay, we have like one, like my mom or aunt or something would jump in and patronize us for a minute. But no, we had like 8 from already. We had 8 people. Yeah. I think we have 9 or 10 now. So we got a nice little crew here. We have people who are sitting in, realizing our social dream. Right now, there are a bunch of people with their mics muted, listening to us talk right now in real time before any edit happens, and they're hearing all of our behind-the-scenes shenanigans. So if you want that, $1 or more on Patreon. We don't have tiers. That's the tier. It's like, give us any amount of money, $1 or more, and you'll get a link to the Discord, and we hang out.
The money goes towards funding our Podbean, and increasingly, at some point, it'll go towards buying the domain and probably having like a real at whatever domain we get email address.
Yeah, pure overhead is being covered at the moment.
Yeah.
Like we got, it's like what, $8 or so a month to have Podbean, keep all our stuff on Spotify, iTunes, and all that shiz. You could give us a rating if you're listening on some kind of podcast distribution software that lets you do ratings or thumbs ups. Thumb up or hit like follow or subscribe, like interact with us on that medium to try and fuck the algorithm. I don't have to be coy with you people. Everybody here's in on the Matrix.
Yep.
You all can see the Matrix. That's how I just like to say it. You all know that we just need algorithm clicks. It doesn't even matter if you say fuck you, you suck. As long as the comment's there, the algorithm is happy.
Pretty much.
Or in case of reviews, 5 stars only. Only 5 stars. The algorithm totally cares. If it's like Applebee's, a 4-star is an F. A 3-star is an F. Only a 5-star is an A. So do that for us.
We're talking about the Super Bowl. Whee! Yeah, I asked these two if they wanted to do a little tentatively titled Mainstream Minute on the Super Bowl.
We watched it together.
In particular, well, you two did. I watched it with my parents.
I did.
And
we were laughing our asses off.
Oh my glob, the ads. All right, I accidentally stopped watching TV when I moved out of the dorms in college and went into an apartment because it was cheaper than the dorms, and I found out I could just get an internet service without cable because it was cheaper. So I accidentally opted out of the majority of video advertising since 2005. And at this point, the only regular advertising I ever see is when I'm at my parents' house because they have cable. And Super Bowl is the pinnacle of the psychic assault of advertising.
Oh, it's true.
They talk about taking psychic damage. The amount of psychic damage I took from this. That's why I don't pay attention to the ads, because if you look at it, it's like, it's like holding my hand even closer to the fire. Or if I'm making fun of it with the audio muted.
That's kind of like when you're out.
It.
Dragger, what you're describing, it's like when you get out of a cult, but then you like revisit the cult and you see all the bad culty shit they're doing. You're just like, ugh.
Pretty
much.
Like,
oh God, it's pretty gross. And I'm feeling weird right now. It's how it feels. It's like, oh no.
So
this is what it feels like.
The grander way I would describe that is, and Xander, this was true of you as well. Pepper, I don't know as much about your upbringing, but like I grew up pretty well middle class. What my dad's cheap, but aside from the fact that he's cheap, like, we were very middle class, if not upper middle class. And it wasn't until going to college in Chicago that I got to actually see more of the world. So it's not just ads. Whenever I go out to the suburb where I grew up, it's overall weirdly well-to-do and very white. And
Oh yeah, of course.
I finally, I retroactively understand why the early Tim Burton movies are a lot more realistic than I thought they were when I was growing up.
Oh, so like thematically they're real.
Yes.
Like they're visual reality. Like this is
the-
how these people feel.
Yes. Yes. Like it's exaggerated for movies, but
Of
it's
course.
there and it's bizarre. Furry is the great desensitizer,
Oh yeah.
or I guess the sensitizer. I am now sensitive
No, absolutely.
to Midwest bullshit.
How often have we said we met people in? Oh no! What's? Oh, here comes the music. Anyway,
Oh God, I forgot.
It comes through.
Anything that I do on my computer, you will hear. It won't be
Fuck.
recorded, but you will all hear it. Oh shit!
random
Okay.
music. No, it's okay.
I'm trying to find the commercial because we're all gonna look at it in a second.
Oh, you're talking
And
about that fuck face? who
Bruce
we're gonna do
destroyed
Springsteen.
that.
America.
There is a single commercial during Super Bowl that is the seed of my anger for why I asked y'all to do this.
There's a chapel in Kansas, standing on the exact center of the lower 48. It never closes.
And it, of course,
Yeah.
is the Bruce Springsteen.
All are more than welcome
Are we gonna
that's
play
the
the audio?
to come meet here in the middle. It's no secret.
All right, let's speed this up.
The middle has been a hard place to get to lately. Between red and blue, between servant and citizen, between our freedom and our fear. Now, fear has never been the best of who we are. And as for freedom, it's not the property of just a fortunate few. It belongs to us all. Whoever you are, wherever you're from. It's what connects us. And we need that connection. We need the middle. We just have to remember the very soil we stand on is common ground. So we can get there. We can make it to the mountaintop, through the desert, and we will cross this divide. Our light has always found its way through the darkness. And there's hope on the road up ahead.
The thing that I wonder about that sprung to mind, not that it excuses it, but that lessens my rage for it, is was this bullshit made before January 6th?
Yeah.
I feel like that is very critical to how much I am willing to exert energy in hating this.
Let's meet at the middle. The middle's in Congress. Let's go there.
Fuck, dude. I think that's like 50-50 because I could see reasons both because I could also see at the exact same time them going, oh, after that happened, yeah, we're gonna pick option C, which is the one that like because I'm sure they had several options.
Yeah.
As I said, it's vital to me for how angry this thing made me.
Oh,
First things
and-
first, cross
go ahead.
over the America, the United States carve out that's painted as the flag at just front and fucking center. Oh, eat
Yeah.
bees.
Yeah, they start with a church, right? Like,
That kind of informs the whole ad. So like I've been thinking about
Yeah.
my perspective on what the hell this ad is, and there's all the various like the obvious one is the like both sides thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the whole ad is, hey everybody, calm down and buy a Jeep.
Yes.
Like, that's really what they're saying. But the fact that the very first thing you see is a church. Notice he didn't say there is an Islamic temple in Kansas. He didn't say like there is a Vulcan prayer circle in the middle of Kansas. No, it's a Christian church. Like they don't even and they say church, which is like already churches are usually Christian.
playing charades.
They didn't
Like,
say
no.
temple. They didn't say synagogue. They didn't
It's
say
it's a
science
church.
classroom.
Yeah.
And they showed there was a cross in there too, right? So yeah,
There's a
it's like
pagan
right away. It's like,
gathering.
so hey Christians, well, when you remember like who this ad is meant to hit, it's meant to hit people who look like the guy in that ad, like older millennials to middle aged, probably white guys who have enough money to buy a new Jeep. Like that's who they want. And usually the politics of the 50K a year plus 80K a year, 100K a year plus demographic of America, this is going to resonate with them. I shouldn't even say white. If you're living comfortably in a suburban setting and can buy a Jeep, this ad might appeal. They're we just got to vote for Biden, turn off the TV, and so we can ignore politics again. Like those people fucking probably love this ad.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
The Super Bowl ads was 100% the most lib shit. If you ever wanted the definition of lib shit, it's this. Like, what do they buy? Who are these people, and who are they selling to? Like, I don't know.
Who is your daddy, and who owns your daddy?
Yeah, exactly.
Does your daddy want to buy a Jeep?
Who's your daddy, and what does his owner do?
Does your daddy remember Jason Alexander, and would they want to see them on a shirt? Like, apparently. So, this is what the libs are into.
All right, so I
vessel.
agree with that, but you have to go farther back, and to me, it is very, very, very important that it is Bruce Springsteen doing this. So I posted a link in our little chat, and I can read some of the lyrics, but this is from the motherfucker, Bruce Springsteen, that did Born in the USA. And other than a couple of, details that need to change for timeliness, this is a song that was released in 1984 and is every bit as relevant today, if not more so. But this same fucker has... This ad is the confirmation that he's turned his back on it. He has had too much fame and money to be empathetic to this anymore.
So, Dragor, do you think that this is a bad enough commercial to cancel Bruce Springsteen?
No.
Fuck you.
So that's not
Okay.
what's happening.
No.
Bruce Springsteen got a DUI in the last 2 hours. You might not have even seen it, but Bruce Springsteen, they've pulled this commercial from YouTube because it was revealed that Springsteen got a DUI in last fall.
Wait, last fall or
Last fall.
I found the middle of this bottle of booze.
I'm in the middle of the street,
I'm
driving
in the middle
backwards.
of this drink. And
I am in the middle of an SUV that my car has now crashed into.
Oh fuck!
He didn't. I don't think he hurt anyone or
I'm in the middle
crashed
of a
anybody.
terrible
but to your
situation.
question. And
in the middle
Xander,
of
I
a
want
lawsuit.
to hear your Xander, if you have
What?
do you think Bruce Springsteen should be quote unquote canceled?
Cancelled? I mean, hey, his audience is going to determine if he's canceled. Like if people who wanted the middle are mad that he did a DUI, which I think they will be, then I don't know. Is that the question you're asking? I don't know.
I didn't realize this was Bruce Springsteen until you told me.
Oh, I knew right away. I heard the voice and I saw the
just thought it
face.
was-
It's immediate.
Wait, that man is Bruce Springsteen?
I backed my truck into the middle of a playground. Oh shit.
Bruce Springsteen is someone that does not need the money, does not need the fame. He's in the class of people that has zero actual need for this.
Yeah.
And he's done commercials before, so you can't take the purity aspect of he's never done a commercial, now he did. But it's just in stark contrast to the content and social message the rest of his fucking career has essentially put forth. The commercial in isolation is very tone deaf, but I don't expect anything different during the Super Bowl, let alone any commercial that's on network TV. So that's not where my anger is. It really has to do, if it wasn't Bruce Springsteen, I'd be just as shocked and appalled, but I wouldn't ask us to record a thing tonight because of it. That it's the boss is why I'm so riled up.
In the middle of Kansas, there is a McDonald's. It never closes. I drank 8 beers and tried to drive there.
Oh.
I need my nuggies.
I need my nuggies.
So, as a young person, so I did not grow up with Bruce Springsteen, but I know my parents and I know all of the adults and other music folks that, as a young kid, were like, "Oh yeah, I like some Bruce Springsteen," and adults would go, "Holy shit, a kid that has taste in music." Not that that's valid or anything, but that's the exchange that happened often. And the people that he resonated with, yes, someone in the chat has commented that, he's always been white. Well, yes, but he represented and catered to a particular white working class. So, yes, white, but not well-to-do at all. Like, his music was always
songs about like working in the mine and shit,
Yes.
like Allentown, and
Yes.
like, it's hard to survive because your boss shits on you, like that kind of music. And I'm like, hell yeah, like I'm down with I'm down with that kind of material.
This was a guy that basically was pro-union, and then this commercial happens.
Oh,
Man, I wonder if he's out of money. I wonder if he's out of money because he's paying this DUI lawsuit. Like, do you think?
I was
He
in the
already
middle
was rich and
of paying
established,
off
and
the
we know they don't
Pinkertons.
fine or threaten to imprison enough to make him need to do this, especially during the Super Bowl.
This was the only ad that had like this kind of tone. I remember like a few Super Bowls ago when they were like show you a child getting murdered and be like Gillette. You're like every ad was like this the
got
saddest.
punked.
It was like a draw, or it'd be like my mom is dying of cancer, and you just like watch a woman wither away, and it's like Nestle. Yeah,
That is
that
so
was
on
every
point.
ad.
We've
There's
had
an
enough
old
death that in our real life that they don't want to put it in the Super Bowl, I think.
Xander.
Well, yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah, this is the only one that did it though.
Yes.
Xander, do
It
you
tried to
remember
be-
the old Lewis Black commentary on advertising?
No.
The line was, commercials make no sense. And the setup was something like, 3 frogs are sitting on a bench. One goes home and hangs himself. Buy a bike.
I do remember that bit.
Oh, man. I need to talk about something. The new most disgusting ad, which I don't know if it works or not on people, but like, I can't imagine anyone's watching this and being like, yeah, is those Marvel Universe we all get together ones? That's horrifying. Because it's just like we own all of these companies. Weird flex, bro. Like, that's just like you're just putting your big corporate dick in our face. Like, okay, suck it, I guess.
Do
Lick
you
it.
think people, because like really little kids, not well, like young
Oh.
people aren't gonna realize that that's what's going on.
I know,
And
but
how many
ah.
how many
I don't
people
know.
over 20 don't realize, oh, they can be in this ad because they're all owned by the same. It's like, oh, there's a Vulcan, and
that one affected me, like the one that the Bruce one affected you. Honestly, just because it's so blatant, I guess.
So the Marvel one, the answer to your question, and Laptev just said it. The answer is that is the point. The pitch for this little recording was also, these ads are not about advertising the thing. Everyone knows about the thing. Everyone knows about Jeep. Everyone knows about Marvel and Disney. None of that is new. It's all about constant assertion that it is not only normal, that it is good for you. It gets you these things you want that ultimately don't
yeah,
matter. They're not
true.
getting you a union or a living wage. They're getting you an entertainment to take you off your mind off of the other things.
How about that Disney?
Yeah.
Exactly.
My brother is very common to saying, like, well, monopolies are bad, but at least under Disney's guidance, we get good Spider-Man movies. Like, how is that acceptable for anything that's going on?
I know, like that's a justification. Like we can't have good things without exploitation. That is the what's being inferred, right? Like that. Well, at
Even
least we
more
get
so,
this.
there's a class of people that essentially are browbeaten into believing that you can't have these good, big, complex things without a benevolent dictator. All these
Yes.
people that are head over heels for Marvel being owned by Disney and Fox being bought by Disney and all this are the same people that are glad Elon Musk is spearheading space exploration instead of the more sane approach of like, we had NASA. Like, NASA did the impossible in under a decade. Why do we need... The government one did better than the private fuckers.
Yeah. Would you put Rick and Mortyism in the same category? I don't know if you can follow where I'm going here, but
Oh, I can
we'll
follow,
have to
but
talk
please
about-
keep going.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Just like the black pill, there's certain things that have to be a certain way. Like smart people will suffer because they're smart, kind of thing. Well,
Yes.
you informed me better about it. You go ahead.
All right. So
I was saying to Alkali, he showed me an episode of Rick and Morty. I'm like, yeah, it was fine, but it's just like depression porn.
yes.
And he's like, yeah, you're right, but it is what it is. And it's a good character and it's interesting. And I'm like, yeah, but then it just, I'm like, if he's so smart, why can't he see that he's being a piece of shit and he could be not suffering if he wasn't a piece of shit?
Because
Like-
it's cool to not care. That's still kind of around. You have this social battle going on right now.
Yeah.
That is it's cool to not care has been a thing for a very long time. You know, I remember growing up and going to school in the 90s where you'd get made fun of for having a vested interest in something. And
Right.
the switch for that kind of did happen, at least in my eyes and in my personal life, as the nerds became essentially a marketing demographic, and it became cool to like Marvel stuff. But it wasn't cool to care. It's just the nerd stuff. It was fine to care about it.
And I said, yeah, I guess you can kind of look at it from a character study, like this person's never going to change because I don't believe in free will. That's a whole different conversation. So even if we look at it from a character study point of view, it glorifies him because Rick
Yes.
is always right.
Yes.
He is always right and he wins and he is the guy. And you can't discount that. People are like, yeah, Rick's fucking awesome. Like, no, he's not. He's a piece of shit.
So, Xander, everything you just described with Rick and Morty was the exact same thing that everyone went through with The Sopranos, except the creator of The Sopranos is like, yeah, but this guy is the villain, and people got unhappy that the villain
Good.
got what was coming towards him. So, like,
Ah.
society's been through this in other shows before. So, if Rick and Morty ends in a similar arc as that, cool.
So I was looking up on Wikipedia like who owns who, like unpack the Russian nesting doll that is all the companies.
Yeah.
And it's called National Amusements, who owns CBS Viacom. And I forgot that Viacom and CBS were the same company again because they've been like reunited and split multiple times. And then Paramount is owned by them. I thought Paramount was like bigger than a CBS. So, oh my God. Like the fact that Westinghouse is in there, duh. How did I fucking forget they own Westinghouse? So like it's the fact that we are people who pay a lot of attention to this kind of nonsense. At least more than the average person, I guess, because I have that kind of obsession time, and I have no idea who is owned by who, what is connected to, like what deals have been made. I don't really have like there's not like a point or a like conclusion to this. It's just I don't like it. Like imagine what like your average person, geez, like does anybody really know when you give someone money for a form of entertainment like where it's even going?
Not the artists.
There was another Super Bowl happening that I wanted to think about for a bit. It also doesn't have a solution or an end.
Okay,
or
what is it?
really a point. I just think it's interesting and creepy. If we watch the inauguration, there's the poet lady. She's the first ever youth poet laureate. I've heard all about her because she was on NPR several times leading up to it. And like I've listened to longer interviews with her, and she seems like a totally chill person who I'm sure as an individual is great and fine. And like, their poems are whatever. Like I don't have any ill will towards them. Hi, this is Pepper in the editing booth. Amanda Gorman is the person I'm talking about. I originally wasn't going to use her name like intentionally because what I'm talking about has less to do with specifically Amanda and more to do with the role that she is being kind of put into with what she's doing. But then listening back, it kind of came off as like infantilizing. Like I'm talking about, this little poet lady, and that's not the impression I want to give off. I have nothing but respect for Amanda. I have no reason to disparage her. And okay, moving on. But they got put out at the inauguration and gave the commercial we just watched. They gave like that kind of in poem, like slam poetry form, where it's like we are more united than divided. And I'm like, this is just like a gentle literary hand job for everybody who's like, we should all stop fighting and get back to making money. Like, stop fighting so we can get back to making money off of poor people.
Keep buying stuff. Stop making ruckus.
Same poet lady is at she had a poem to open the football, and that's I think probably a better setting for that. But her poem was all about COVID doctors during COVID and how grateful we are to emergency workers and frontline workers. And like, sure, if you take that in a vacuum, I have no problem with the poem. Like, cool, write a nice poem for doctors.
Yeah, but it was intercut with
But
shots of
it's the
people not
NF
wearing masks correctly.
It's at an NFL event, and the NFL voluntarily held a season during COVID.
Yeah.
Like, how many people got COVID for no fucking reason?
How many times were we watching the game? We're like, how many people are in that stadium? Way too many people. That's the answer to
Too
that.
many.
That was insane.
Susie is the ICU nurse manager at a Tampa hospital. Her chronicles prove that even in tragedy, hope is possible. She lost her grandmothers to the pandemic and fights to save other lives in the ICU battle zone, defining the frontline heroes, risking their lives for our own. Let us walk with these warriors, charge on with these champions, and carry forth the call of our captains. We celebrate them by acting with courage and compassion, by doing what is right and just. For while we honor them today, it is they who every day honor us.
If you're gonna have your dumbass season, at least don't have in-person attendance. Like, the NBA had a season. I don't think there was a single transmission that happened at the NBA. Like, it was like people brought stuff in from other places. Some people had but it didn't get transmitted within the bubble, as they called it in Orlando. And I understand there are far fewer players in basketball, so it's a little easier. But the NFL, Jesus fucking Christ, the fact that we can just expect every single American to give a shit about the Super Bowl, or at least know what's happening. Like, it's a pretty big organization, and I think they have the resources to, if they must have the season, because they don't want to lose the advertising money from the TV networks, if they must have the season, why wouldn't you do it in the safest way possible? Jesus Christ, you have the resources. Or just don't have the season at all. Just don't be fucking dumb. Just don't, don't do it.
So you want to know why the football season happened?
Huh.
Money.
All right. So
Besides advertising.
Money.
it's not just advertising, and it gets back to the normalization and propaganda machine.
Oh,
And
you're right.
so how many people do you think watched the Super Bowl this year?
Oh, fuck. I should have an actual guess.
I have it open. What do each of you think?
Oh, wow. I don't know what the normal
I don't remember
number
what the
is.
numbers are. Is it like over 100 million?
So it failed to reach 100 million this year. That's the lowest it's been since 2007. However,
Weird.
it still had 96.4 million viewers. Plus or minus however many people are getting together and watching, either with families or COVID circles or being stupid and had Super Bowl parties anyway.
I didn't check that, but that's
Yeah.
cool. Like, I like that viewership went down. Because that's the only way anything ever changes. And I like football. Like, I like the catching the ball, the running, the sport itself. I think is cool and fun, and I like watching it. The NFL is bad,
Correct.
and I wish we could you know what I mean?
Well, it's like wrestling, like WWE was the only thing in town,
Yeah.
and now there's
Yeah, it's
more
like everything.
that are less bad. So,
But
All
like
the organization.
the only thing that came up was the XFL, and Vince made that.
so how many of these companies dump it's well known that it's millions of dollars per minute, if not more, for an ad slot. There was some words
yeah.
I heard that
Yeah.
overall the ads were less of a focus because there were supposedly going to be donations or what have you, but I don't have any numbers around that. However, so we can't get $2,000 checks out. We can't get $1,400 checks out. We can't do anything. We cannot help people that are described as essential workers, but we can have a football season with attendance and a Super Bowl with incredible production. I understand that all of this is private, but this is part of the point. Like, private has all of these resources. The government can do whatever it wants. Like, that's kind of part of the
Yeah.
point. And we had all of these ads that were geared at normalizing the lack of inaction from our representatives. None of
It
the
all has
ads
the vibe of
yeah.
it all feels mission accomplished.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all like, well, that sure was hard, wasn't it? And it's like, why are we past tense right now? Like, why are all these ads about moving forward after a thing? It's like, we're still on the Titanic as it's sinking. And they're like, well, let's set these life rafts on fire because I'm kind of cold.
This COVID thing's almost done. No acknowledgement of 400,000 people died. What my favorite
love
tweet
that-
or the statistic was they had how many minutes rolling of footage, silent, I think it was, of all of the names of the people who died in 9/11, which was several thousand people. And if you were to do that, if you were to do that for all of the COVID deaths, that would be hours. But we didn't.
Yeah.
We don't acknowledge it. It's not the same. No one did that to us. Well, actually, okay, we did it to ourselves, but that's not a foreign person we can just point a finger at and go, they cost us these lives.
It was a disaster happening in America that actually wasn't America's fault. Like, we
Right.
have thousands and thousands of people who die of exposure every year while, like, hotel
cause
rooms
happened,
sit empty
Pepper.
and houses sit empty. And that doesn't even get acknowledged. COVID isn't going to get acknowledged because we did that to ourselves. And when I say we, I do not mean us, the people. I mean we, the system of the U.S. government. Like, the country had the opportunity to avoid not 100% of those deaths, but holy crap, look at... Like, you know, like everybody says, look around. I'm not going to restate all the same arguments.
Sure.
We had the option to do that, and we just didn't. And now, like, we have to. That's why we're also getting this, it's all in the past, something that happened. It's all this vague, because we can't talk about the fact that it was entirely preventable, or at least very preventable, and we still aren't doing it. And people are like, that's why I think that's a big part of why fucking January 6th happened. I mean, a lot of them were rando rich people, and a lot of them were, they bust in like 7 or 8 buses from like middle Ohio. So
Yeah.
it was also
There's
a mix of just
rich
random,
people and bandwagoners.
complete randos.
Yeah.
Bandwagoners is the way to say it.
Yeah.
It's
Totally.
part people buying Jeeps, people who can afford Jeeps, and those commercials are for.
They're like,
And
this
it's-
looks
it's
fun.
part-
Let's go get America back. Yeah. And it's like, yeah.
we're all sitting here like, why are we all acting like everything's over when like our people I know are still dying, getting this disease? What is happening? And the cognitive dissonance is just so massive and shattering that you have people willing to run to QAnon for like an explanation as to why things are like this, than to run after the people who are in control. Because unfortunately, right now, the people who are in control are the people who we are told are good and like on our side and out there to
Yeah.
help us. And the help just still isn't coming.
Here's an example of a middle of the road thing I would have reacted to with something like, well, it's still bullshit, but at least that's wielded positively. It came out before the Super Bowl. I don't know when Dr. Fauci announced this, but the official position became like, yeah, y'all really should be double masking. As for why or the effectiveness or what have you, it doesn't matter. The recommendation is now that. So what didn't happen on Super Bowl Sunday? President Joe Biden nor Dr. Fauci took a segment out of the Super Bowl to announce double masking, and here, in this next amount of time, we're mailing everyone this amount of masks. Why did that not
Every
fucking
USPS
happen?
address.
Why?
Every address on USPS record gets
Every address.
a pack of 5 fucking masks.
Yeah.
At least.
Like,
Businesses, you get 100, 1,000. I don't give a shit.
it's nothing. It would have cost nothing. Like, it would have engendered goodwill. I don't know if that's the right word or not. I'm frustrated.
Words.
Like, let's just say for a moment that the reason the $2,000 checks thing, the ultimate reason it's being fought over, is because the owners of our politicians are like, no socialism allowed. You can send people fucking masks so they don't die. You get less money at the top if significant portions of your population die.
Yeah.
They won't even use capitalism in a way that would like
Capitalism.
self-preserve. Because I don't think it's even as dark room and on purpose as like having a plan of we are scared of the socialists getting more popular, therefore we will. I think it's just a genuine belief in the austerity measures they put out. I think Joe Biden doesn't give out money because in his heart of hearts, he believes that giving money to people makes them want to not work and makes them lazy criminals. Like the old shit that your grandparents say, like, all these blah, 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 sitting around on street corners, we can't just give out welfare. That makes people not want to work. Like if you
Yeah.
base your beliefs on that, and if you throw in a little bit of like, oh, if you work hard, you'll get ahead. Why would you give anything to anyone?
Right.
If anything,
And
you're culling their potential.
But my point here is like setting aside the direct money. Biden, his entire fucking life, grew up in the heart of, oh, there's a crisis. The government will do this because it's for the good of the people. Like, he lived through it. multiple times,
saying
over
even
and
masks.
over. I don't think
even
he
mean the
believes
checks.
that.
I
for
think they would
masks.
not. I think they would not even send out masks based on like, well, you can. We should subsidize and make more affordable masks. That's what he would say. He'd be like, well, we're gonna make the masks cheap because that's what he's saying with healthcare. Like all the stuff, it's never just give it to people. It's like, well, we'll make it we'll make them accessible, meaning like cheaper. I think Biden would be most likely like, all right, we're gonna have these special government masks and they cost 5 cents. And then like there'd be a wait list for a million years to get one. Like,
Yeah.
Like bungled. I think that's a program I would see how that would manifest.
I mean,
because it can't just be. It would. If you make more than we don't want to accidentally give rich people masks because if that shit would come out too.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
make more than 100,000, we won't give you a mask. It's like stop doing this. Just give the masks out.
Yes.
Do something. Right now, they're trying to whittle down your $1,400. I keep wanting to say $2,000 checks. They keep wanting to whittle down your $1,400 check. Like, if you make $49,000, you're destitute and you need $1,400 now. But if you make $50,000, you're part of the 1% and you do not deserve this money. Like, that's that is seriously where it is 50K right now. They're saying if you make more than 50K, no help.
That's
And
insane.
I sure as fuck know a lot of people who make 50K and none of them are rich right now. None of them have gotten the same kind of economic help that like your Amazons and such are currently doing because like they can't work.
Or it's based off of your 2019 income and you've had 0 for the past year.
You want to talk about the actual football part of the game?
No. If you don't know, I'm on Alkali and Xander channel or Dragon Show on YouTube and Twitch things, and Dragger is on Dragger Zippy Tanks on Twitch, and Pep's on Pepper Coyote, so there's that.
Yay.
Yeah.
that
If you
cover?
Google Pepper Coyote, you'll find all my shit.
There you go.
It's been.
It's been about
Yeah, it's my.
It's been one
that's my most
fuck of a
popular
week.
thing at the moment.
I'll say.